A Quiet Place: The Road Ahead is a horror adventure game inspired by the critically acclaimed blockbuster movie franchise. Get it now on PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and Steam. More horror equals more fun. Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the 10 best horror movie tie-in video games. For this list, we'll be showcasing a bevy of fun and spooky horror games that draw inspiration and creativity from their movie counterparts. Blair Witch. Blair Witch is a disorienting and labyrinthian nightmare set in the haunting woods of Burkittsville. While the game does most certainly have some rough edges, as a whole it's held aloft by a vast feeling of isolation, despair, confusion, and utter terror. These attributes are also what made the original Blair Witch Project movie so beloved. War-scarred Ellis and his faithful dog Bullet take to the infamous Burkittsville forest in hopes of figuring out what happened to a missing kid.
Wait, is that... It's Peter.
I think I didn't see that, Peter.
The way in which this game blends realities while distorting what you think is truly going on constantly keeps you on edge throughout its short runtime. Sure, the game can get irritating as you continue to get lost, chased by nightmare-inducing visages, only to wind up somewhere you didn't expect. However, it's all part of the grand picture at play here, one that aims to isolate you, confuse you, and keep you guessing around every dark and ominous corner.
It's all gone, see?
Evil Dead: A Fistful of Boomstick.
Make mine a double.
Evil Dead and B-movie camp/quirky comedy horror are synonymous. Evil Dead: A Fistful of Boomstick takes the offbeat, lovable Ash Williams and places him in a town overrun with deadites. As you might imagine, Ash must use his trusty boomstick along with his chainsaw to deal some over-the-top carnage. This game is set after Army of Darkness and Hail to the King, and Ash is still coming to grips with the death of Jenny. Fortunately, he is able to still spout out goofy one-liners thanks to Bruce Campbell's awesome voice acting chops.
Oh, please. That hack wouldn't know the real Necronomicon from a roll of extra fluffy 2-ply.
As he takes on the zombie-like deadites in time-warping versions of the same explorable town. A Fistful of Boomstick feels and plays like one of the films, and although it can get repetitive with its arcadey action, there's still plenty to love with this third-person action-adventure game.
Plenty more where that came from.
Ju-on the Grudge Haunted House Simulator. Talk about a horror hidden gem on the Nintendo Wii. While waggly motion controls might not be everybody's cup of tea, there's no denying that Ju-on the Grudge Haunted House Simulator is a downright creepy game, especially if jump scares are your thing. While the game's subtitle might suggest this only takes place in a haunted house, you actually get to explore a seemingly abandoned factory and a derelict hospital as well. 2000s era long black hair ghost girl movies really knew how to make people jump out of their seats, with the likes of The Ring and The Grudge. This game incorporates all of the horror staples from The Grudge, such as the creepy ghostly kids, the ethereal cat meows, and, who can forget, the off-putting guttural throat noises that still haunt many horror hounds' nightmares. While this game may be on the very short side, it's an experience that relishes in spooky ambiance, disturbing audio, and well-placed jump scares. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre game is a grimy, dirty, seedy, and deeply unnerving affair, one that perfectly encapsulates the hopelessness and despair seen in the film counterparts. Even for an asymmetrical multiplayer game, there's a certain voyeuristic feeling when playing with others in this maniacal butcher simulator. In this game, you can opt to play as one of the victims as you try to use stealth, various character attributes and skills, environmental distractions, and the like, in order to circumvent the opposing cannibalistic Slaughter family. Or, of course, you can don the likes of Leatherface, Johnny, or Sissy in order to deal out punishment to the trespassers. It's a brutal experience, unlike most others in the horror genre. Regardless what side you play on, there's a palpable tension to the cat and mouse matches. Be careful, Grandpa is hungry. Paranormal Activity: The Lost Soul. With the staggering cornucopia of Paranormal Activity movies out there, some better than others, it's nice to see at least one video game version of the popular supernatural property. Enter Paranormal Activity: The Lost Soul, a bite-sized first-person horror experience that can be played traditionally or in VR for those who want even more spooky immersion. While not up there with the likes of PT, Infliction, Madison, or Visage, The Lost Soul manages to provide plenty of demonically infested frights in a typical suburban home. This mostly comes down to the game's scare randomizer system, which means no two playthroughs will scare you in the same way. The stark normality of the house juxtaposed with the poltergeist activity and haunting imagery makes for a creepy experience overall, even with some janky animations and laughable character models. With the lights off and headphones plugged in, Paranormal Activity: The Lost Soul will seep its way into your horror gaming nightmares. And speaking of nightmares, you may never sleep again trying to survive the apocalypse in A Quiet Place: The Road Ahead. Step into a harrowing world where silence is survival and every move counts. Navigate ruined and unfamiliar terrain, scavenge for highly coveted resources, and outsmart terrifying alien creatures using stealth, the environment, and a set of unique tools. Immerse yourself in post-apocalyptic landscapes filled with hidden dangers, tense and thrilling gameplay moments, and a deeply personal story inspired by the critically acclaimed film franchise. Get A Quiet Place: The Road Ahead now on Steam, PlayStation 5, or Xbox Series X and S. Friday the 13th, the game. If horror is all about creating a mood and a feel, then Friday the 13th, the game delivers that in spades. Despite being incredibly janky, rough around the edges, and often just downright broken at times, even across all these years since its release, there's still something charming yet harrowing, campy yet foreboding about this game. This asymmetrical multiplayer horror game pits Jason against a variety of clumsy camp counselors in and around various Camp Crystal Lake locales. Although it's not as easy to play as it once was, given that the server shut down in 2020 and the game was delisted in 2023, those who played it during its heyday remember enjoying match after match of simply outwitting Jason as a counselor or punishing the campers as a variety of Jason archetypes. Playing this game provides the same vibes as watching the classic Friday the 13th films, replete with nostalgic audio, woodsy locations, and buckets of blood and gore.
They want to hurt you, Jason. Don't let them.
The Mummy Demastered. action-adventure Metroidvania The Mummy Demastered might not outwardly scream traditional horror in the same way that other games on this list do. However, Pixel Master's Way Forward managed to craft an utterly haunting and mesmerizing game dripping with horror overtones. From the pantheon of monstrous aberrations to the sordid and derelict levels, to the Castlevania-esque bosses, to the inspirations from the Mummy movies of course, this game holds its own in the genre while still teetering just on the verge of pure horror, albeit in a 2D pixel format. As you blast your way through the interconnected stages, you will come across mythological beasts, gothic locales, plenty of firepower to wield, and a dastardly mummified villain who watches your every move from the shadows. Mummy fans should seek out this underappreciated Metroidvania gem, one that has a penchant for lovely horror goodness. Dead by Daylight. Dead by Daylight is a true buffet of horror movie iconography, serving up dish after dish of bloody delights from myriad legends of horror cinema. Over the many years Dead by Daylight has been running, it's introduced the likes of Michael Myers and Laurie Strode from Halloween, Scream's Ghostface, creepy black-haired ghost girl Sadako from The Ring, Freddy Krueger from The Nightmare on Elm Street, and even more, including Chucky, Alien, and even the Saw franchise. The third and final asymmetrical multiplayer horror game on this rundown, Dead by Daylight is the true all-encompassing horror juggernaut in this space. Each match feels tense, palpable, and unpredictable, whether you are playing as the killer or one of the many survivors. While the game certainly has plenty of unique killers and survivors of its own, it's really cemented its place as a solid horror movie tie-in game with its strong lineup of horror cinema legends.
Haddonfield is forever doomed. Michael Myers will never take his mask off, and Laurie might not give up.
Alien Isolation.
Ripley? I'm Samuels. I work for the company. It's about your mother.
Taking on the posture of the OG Alien film, Alien Isolation sees Amanda Ripley aboard Sevastopol Station after retrieving the flight recorder from the Nostromo, where Amanda's mother, Ellen, yes, from the film, was but is now missing. Aboard Sevastopol, it's very clear that things have gone very, very wrong, not least because a stalking, hulking, terrifying xenomorph constantly hunts you down to no end. Fighting back against this alien monstrosity is a fool's errand, since it can shrug off almost any incoming attack. So it's up to you to guide Amanda in and around Sevastopol, uncovering the nefarious goings-on while just trying to stay alive. The moment-to-moment tension in Isolation is deeply palpable, with you never really truly feeling safe, given the xenomorph's insidious AI patterns. Beware and stay alert at all times.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure to go into your settings and switch on notifications.
The Thing. John Carpenter's The Thing from 1982 is a stone-cold sci-fi horror classic, so it's no surprise really that a video game counterpart eventually came along. Fortunately for fans of the film, this 2002 sci-fi horror experience is of the highest caliber, one that has managed to stand the test of time, even if the graphics haven't aged all that gracefully. Combining third-person action with unique squad-based gameplay mechanics, The Thing manages to capture the cold, isolating feelings that the film evokes, albeit with a tad more bombastic, over-the-top, alien-shooting action. Interestingly, the game also throws in some immersive first-person sequences to keep the gameplay fresh throughout. Add to that a fear and trust system whereby Blake's various companions act differently depending on the situation at hand. The Thing does so much to provide terrifying alien immersion around every frozen tundra corner.
No way, I don't trust you.
Which horror movie tie-in video games do you think are the best? Be sure to let us know down in the comments.
My great-great-great-granddaddy used to tell tale of a one-armed stranger from the future who once saved this town from the minions of hell.
Get A Quiet Place: The Road Ahead now on Steam, PlayStation 5, or Xbox Series X and S. Survive in silence through this exclusive spin-off of the critically acclaimed blockbuster A Quiet Place franchise.